Welcome to the Fort St. John Association for Community Living Shining Brighter podcast. We're putting a spotlight on success stories and solutions to the problems of exclusion and apathy in the world of people living with developmental disabilities and complex needs. My name is Jared, and I'm hosting together with my friend Kelly, who will introduce himself in just a moment. And we've got a great guest again today who will meet shortly. I work with the association as the stewardship manager, and my role is to help tell the stories of the individuals we support and the staff who are the foundation of our work. As well, I get to invite the community to join us as supporters and contributors to our work so that our mission is stronger than ever. And again, co-hosting with me, who made it perfectly on time today, is
Kelly.
Yeah.
Yo.
And who are you, Kelly?
I am one of the individuals of the association. I'm also on the board for community living. So
Excellent.
Yeah.
And you are now perfectly caffeinated. Yeah, thanks to our lovely guest. Today we have Rebekah with us. Rebekah, it's so good to have you, and especially since you brought beverages, I think this should be an expectation for all guests going forward, right, Kelly?
yes,
Yeah, thanks.
bring ice caps.
Yes, wonderful. So it's good
bribery. It's
yeah,
honest.
bribery. Then we'll only say the nicest things.
That's right, Kelly.
So again, Kelly's been brave and allowed us to bring a guest on who's spent time with him. So this is fun. We're getting a trend and a theme going here. But Rebekah, how did you first connect with the association?
Ooh, that's a very good question. I was actually thinking about this last night, and I realized that I think my first official connection with the association was actually out at Camp Sigatawa, where one of the individuals from CC was staffing on a camp in the kitchen. And I got to know her there, and then I ended up moving to Fort St. John, and then it was through the, the job fair at the Pomeroy, where I got connected with the association, and then I realized that this lady I volunteered with, she also was a part of the association, so that was really cool how that all happened.
Yeah, that's so good. And Sagatawa actually came up at staff meeting. I don't know if we should talk about it on the podcast or not, but it sounds like there were good memories made at Sagatawa.
So many memories.
Yeah. Did you go out to
No.
camp? Kelly, you never made it? No.
No,
Not your thing, or it didn't work out for you?
no, not really.
It was because I was out there. He was too chicken to come out.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? I know this.
We know. Well, before we get deeper into your relationship with the association, Rebekah, tell us a little bit about yourself. Have you lived in Fort St. John a long time? What are some of the things that you love to do? What do you love about our great city?
Good question. So no, I'm not originally from Fort St. John. I'm from a little town called Terrace. I know a lot of people don't know where that is, but if you know where Prince Rupert is, you literally have to go through Terrace to get to Rupert. Born and raised there, but funny thing was my family actually moved to Fort St. John when I was about 12, 13. We lived here for 2 years. I hated it then because, like I said, I was just 12, 13. It sucked. So then we ended up going back to Terrace, and then I ended up volunteering on a camp and made some really amazing connections that way. And then me and my older sister decided, hey, we needed a change, and then we moved up this way. We moved here in 2014, so it's been like 11 years, if my math is correct.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite things about Fort St. John is actually the people. I have some really amazing connections with some families, and I have unofficially adopted myself out to quite a few families. So the support network is amazing.
Yeah.
And then, some things I like to do. I guess you could call me a little bit of an adrenaline junkie. I love things like whitewater rafting, skydiving, bungee jumping, scuba diving, all those kinds of fun things. Anything crazy you can think of, yes, that is me.
Now, some of those things maybe you can do in Fort St. John, but not very many. So you've probably had to travel a fair bit.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I think skydiving you can do here every now and again if you have the right connections, but no, I had to go elsewhere to do all this fun stuff.
Yeah. Kelly, what's the craziest adrenaline junkie thing you've done?
Craziest adrenaline junkie thing I've done is flipping my chair over multiple times.
That's crazy.
Oh, and getting hit by a car. That takes the cake.
So now, I'm thinking you purposely jumped out of a plane but I'm guessing you purposely didn't try to get hit by a car.
You're correct.
There's a difference there. There's quite a fine line.
That would be a whole other level of adrenaline rush. I just see Kelly like drive out in the middle of the street, bring it, traffic, and see what happens.
It's almost like, let's go play chicken with this train. I will stay here.
Although we've talked about it, right? Like sometimes when you go driving, that's just kind of how it feels. Like, well, we'll see what happens today, Fort St. John.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I remember after I got hit by the car, I had a bit of every time I would drive down that street, I get a little bit of PTSD from driving down that street because it's like, oh no, am I going to get hit again?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So, Rebekah, you've done a lot of crazy things. You have this sense for adventure. And then you're working for the association. And how does that connect? Does it connect? What draws you as someone who's looking for adventure and, likes these new experiences to want to work for the association? And maybe, I guess, connecting that, what is your role? What do you do with the association? And how do you keep coming back? Maybe we'll get to that because I know that you travel a bit and then you come back again. But tell us a little bit what your role is and then how that all ties together.
That's a loaded question.
I know, that's how I roll.
So my role right now is I'm just casual staff, so meaning I go between a bunch of different programs that we have to offer, and I get a chance to work in some of our homes, and then our supported independent program. So I just kind of go back and forth, which is really great because then it gives you the chance to get to know people. And it was actually being a casual staff, that's how I got to know Kelly, working in his house and stuff like that. But it's been a while. But before that, I used to work in the careers program for 9-10 years or whatever it was, and then CC as well too, but I keep leaving and coming back, so that changes things all the time.
I'm surprised they keep accepting you back.
So am I, honestly. I'm like, hello, it's me.
They're probably like, geez, doesn't she ever just stick around or stay away?
I think they've also kind of come to expect it of me, because leading into that, I've been very fortunate. I've officially quit 4 times now, but I do keep coming back. So there must be a reason, right, Kelly?
She's like a disease.
Oh, come on. I brought you coffee.
Yes, you did.
What happened to being nice to me?
I'm sorry, I just can't help it.
Yes, he's the reason why I keep leaving. It's really Kelly's fault, But no, tied in with that, whenever I leave, I usually do mission work, like volunteer work. Which is really interesting because, I guess it's kind of like a 11-year thing in the making, where when I first got into this field, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, really. I had a couple other things on the go, but it all fell through. And then, I just got into this type of work as a support worker. And I really found that I fell in love with this job because I really realized the value that people have.
Yeah.
And then just everything with that. And then I've gone on a couple trips to some different countries where people that aren't always treated equally, or they are devalued because of any sort of disability, whether it's developmental or physical. It doesn't matter, because with a lot of that you have the cultural mindset behind that and also the religious impact as well too. So when you have those two things impacting countries, it's very hard to kind of fight that in some ways, right? So I've had a chance to work closely with some people in these countries, and then they're trying to make a difference and stuff like that, and it really is coming along, but it's still quite a bit of work to do, right? So so with that, with being a support worker, that's been my drive for doing all these things, and then kind of seeing what is out there, and really wanting to show value that people have.
So you didn't do any specific training in this field? You were just kind of drawn into it because of the passion that you have, and then you've learned along the way?
First of all, I was drawn into this job because I was like, I need to work. I had something to do with my life because I don't know what the heck.
Which is something we don't often talk about, right? We often are, thinking, okay, if potential employees are watching this podcast, we want to, put our best foot forward so that maybe they're attracted to come work for us. And that is a reality, is that we just provide jobs that pay bills. Now, we're not the highest paying job, and we've talked about that often, that working for an organization like this, nonprofit, you shouldn't be in it for the money, but it does pay, and you get to do things that make a positive difference in human services. And so it is doubly rewarding if you get that and understand that. But yeah, that's a good point, that you just needed a job, and we provide jobs.
Also, honestly, like when I got in this field, I was 19, so I was actually honestly terrified. The thought of like wiping people's butts and stuff like that scared the crap out of me. But it honestly did, and it's true.
No pun intended.
No. But it's true though, and like a lot of people, it scares a lot of people, right? But when you start doing it, then you realize that, hey, if I don't do this, people's quality of life, especially if they can't do it themselves, is going downhill. So it's something that I have to get over it, and it's actually not a big deal. And I know, like, if I'm uncomfortable with it, how uncomfortable is it for the person I'm supporting?
Yeah,
Right?
it's not fun for us either.
No, it wouldn't be, right? But that's where, like, when I was working with you, we just make jokes out of it, you know?
Yeah.
It was fun operating that sling, just saying.
I think there's a good point in perspective that we can get from both of you in that. So, you know, you came in, like you said, young, fairly naive, scared. What helped you get over that fear? And what would you say to somebody else who is maybe just getting going in the job or thinking about it and is like, I don't know if this is for me, because there are some of these awkward, maybe uncomfortable, I haven't, you know, done this type of work before. What would you say helped you overcome that fear? And then what would you say to someone who's kind of in that same position you were a number of years ago?
I think it was just really realizing that, okay, I need to get over my fears and just deal with this, because if I don't do it, then people's health is going to just decline. So I essentially was kind of like, I have to suck it up. And then the more I did it, the more I got, okay, then the more I was comfortable with it. I'm just like, okay, whatever, it's actually not a big deal kind of thing. But like, there are some people that just can't, it's not for everyone, right? It really isn't. But it was just, in my case, it was just the thing of realizing, okay, I just have to get over it and just do this. And then it just became like second nature kind of thing. So I'm like, oh, whatever, it doesn't faze me.
And I think we talked about it, Kelly. Did you actually scare away a staff one time or something?
Yeah.
That was probably with his smart mouth, though. You know, the sass coming over there.
So, Kelly, like I said, I want to get your perspective on that, too. What do you feel is helpful for new staff coming in? And you've obviously, you know, been with the organization for a while, worked with a lot of staff. What makes a new staff successful? What doesn't go well for them from your perspective?
Well, I've noticed, like, with having, like, new staff and stuff, like, a lot of them are always afraid of, like, hurting me or whatever, and it's like, everything hurts, so just do it. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna be uncomfortable for me either way, so just get over yourself.
Yeah.
But that's the great thing about you, though, is you have a voice, and you can ask, hey, how does this feel? Because I remember when I first started working with you, I'm just like, I didn't usually just like, I'm just like, hey, I know there's documents and stuff like that, but I just ask you, I'm like, hey, how does this feel? And you're able to voice if you like it or if you don't, right? Or if you're uncomfortable or whatever, right? So that's the great thing about that.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we have individuals who can't articulate verbally as well. And I would assume you've worked with them as well. What's effective strategy in that context?
Well, even if they're nonverbal, I don't actually really like that term, nonverbal, because even if you can't speak, you can still communicate in different ways.
For sure.
And a lot of it is in facial expressions, in vocal noises, like whether it's screaming or laughing or crying, and even in gestures. So a lot of it is kind of learning those tells from people. And then just being able to gauge, okay, clearly this person's in pain, or clearly this person from their facial expressions is not very comfortable with this. So then just really being in tune with that.
Now, I kind of want to circle back to what you're talking about before in relation to you've had this experience, diverse experience of, working in nonprofit, missional work, social services, other parts of the world. What do you feel are the differences? You mentioned some of the challenges and things, the lack of opportunities, or the height of barriers that people face in some of these other countries. What are the differences? What does an organization like the Association for Community Living do? What does it look like differently in Canada than it does in other countries? And what do you think you've been able to kind of help bring into perspective in those other countries? But also there might be, what can we learn? There's probably things that we could learn from some of the places you've spent time with.
Mm-hmm. I think a big thing is that North America in general, there's more awareness out there. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of opportunity, whether it's like government funding, different programs out there. So there's more awareness. I mean, there's still like certain stigmas that come with it as well too. But overall, there's more opportunities for people, whether like through programs, different organizations, things like that. And in the countries I've been to, there's nothing like that. I mean, sure, some of them had just like recently started up like within like the first 10 years. The awareness was kind of getting out there, but it was slow going and stuff like that. And then the one country I went to, Mongolia, actually, I was going around with this one lady who, it was a very small village they lived in. It was like 1,200 people, and she started like visiting people's homes and stuff like that, and just so it was slowly getting out there. But even when I went to go visit, like everyone in this village knew I was there. So like they even had like a room set for me like in their pharmacy and stuff like that. But I felt a lot of pressure because I thought they felt like I was some sort of miracle worker. Like, I can't. Because they brought people to me, like, expecting me to, like, fix things, diagnose things. I'm like, I can't do that. Like,
right.
No, I can't. So
wow.
I felt like a letdown. But that was kind of a trip where, for me personally, it was like, I don't need to know the impact I make. That's not the important thing. And then when I left, because I think I left on a Sunday or something like that, and then if I would have left on a Monday, I guess the mayor of that village wanted to actually have like a send-off for me. But I learned about this after, so I'm like, oh, okay.
You missed the grand exit.
Darn it, I sure did, but I was okay with that.
Yeah, because that's not what you went there for, right?
No, exactly.
But yeah, that's just interesting, and I think it's something we forget and maybe take for granted, is the opportunities that we have and how we're positioned to be able to provide supports, and that really it is not the same in other parts of the world. But I would hope that you've just done this on your own initiative to go out and do these trips and make these connections. But that hopefully we could share some of the resource and information and ideas with others, and then also be open to learning. I know, Kelly, we've often talked about, what are things that would help us improve. What do you think would be, good to learn from? Like, sometimes we get our own blinders on, and what would be helpful for us to kind of remove some of those blinders so that we could keep learning as well?
I think one of the things is that, one of the things that people should learn is that at the end of the day, we're all people, and we're all human, and we're all gonna, make mistakes, mess up,
Yeah.
At the end of the day, yeah, we're all just people.
And that is the thing. It doesn't have to get too complicated, right? Mm-hmm. It can stay pretty simple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, is you're absolutely right. At the end of the day, we are all people. It doesn't matter. We all have value, and we all deserve to be treated with equality and respect, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then with that, though, like I said before, there are countries where, because of the mindset, like the cultural beliefs, the stigma that comes with that, the religious views, they impact the way they view people. And unfortunately, there are some countries where people with disabilities are pushed aside because of that mindset. But they don't know any better.
Yeah.
Right? They don't. So with that, because we do have the resources here in North America, that's where, okay, what can we do to make a difference? And a lot of that is to teach and educate people that, no, this person is human too.
Right.
Doesn't matter if he's sitting in a chair or not.
Yep.
He's also a person and deserves to be treated as such.
Well, maybe when this podcast gets international, maybe we can broaden our reach and have some of that influence.
Yes.
Yeah. And Kelly's fame will go broader than it already is.
I'll need your autograph soon.
What, you talked about the early kind of intimidation coming in, and you've grown and you've learned over time, and obviously have a passion and a much higher level of comfort in the work you do now. But what are some of the challenges you're still facing? What are things that, you're confronted with in your work, or, in the context of what we do, and how do you deal with those ongoing challenges?
I think, well, this isn't so much, I guess it can kind of be seen as a challenge, but it's also more like a personal thing that I kind of like grapple with, where I kind of think, okay, if I want to go do something fun, I just go and do it, right? And if I want to do something fun with a person that can have risks involved, there's certain steps that we have to take.
What are those called, Kelly?
Where I'm going with this.
Those are called...
The risk assessment?
Yes.
Yeah.
We talked about those with Peter and his paintball thing. But tell us. Yeah, so tell us about that, because we're candid here, right? Like, this is the reality. So
the risk assessments are a joke. I will say this.
So as much as I know people that we support struggle with
They're a joke.
I actually also truly struggle with it too, because we're about giving people quality of life. I mean, I get that when there's risks involved, you do have to take certain steps. I do get that, and I do understand that. But then the other side of it is well, if we want people to experience life, doing these steps is kind of it's not fast acting. You have to wait for months at a time or whatever it is, and it has to go through all these steps to get approved and yada, yada, yada.
And part of life is... the person might get injured or whatever, but you're going to learn from those mistakes. Like me flipping my chair over multiple times, although I still don't seem to learn. I don't.
Well, that's a whole different ballgame there.
Yeah.
But, so no, I do understand, the importance of it and stuff like that, but then there's still that little bit of struggle that I personally kind of struggle with and stuff like that, because I'm just well...
And that's fair.
How does this work?
How do you have thoughts or ideas on how we could lessen that barrier, or make it feel, or allow it to be more freedom and independent, yet still also acknowledging the responsibility we have as an organization?
Maybe just kind of loosening the grip a little, just okay, so this person might get injured, but that's part of life.
Well,
that's life experience.
I think it'd be kind of cool to kind of get to a point where, okay, as staff, we support these people, so we have an idea of what they are capable of doing, know their personality, know the ins and outs and stuff like that. We know the risks involved as well too, but I think it'd be kind of cool if we could get to a point where, hey, let's go to Edmonton. Kelly, do you want to go with me? Cool, you do? Let's go talk to your parents. Are they okay with this kind of thing? And then kind of go from there. If we could kind of get to that point, right? And if people are uncomfortable with it or whatever, then okay, let's look at the risks involved. Let's kind of do that, right? Break it down that way. I don't know if it's possible to get to that, but it'd be kind of nice to do it that way, where you ask the person, hey, do you want to do this? Do you feel comfortable doing this? No? Okay, never mind. Let's not do that, right? And then talk to the parents too, or whoever's close in their lives, right? So I think it'd be kind of nice to get to that point. And then if there's high risks involved, whitewater rafting or something like that, then there's different steps that you have to take, right?
What's a risky adventure you would like to try yet, Kelly?
Risky adventure. Where do I even begin?
He's got a list.
I wouldn't say it's a risky adventure, but I'd like to go to Vegas.
Okay.
I've never been to Vegas. It's on my bucket list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just tear up the town.
Right.
You just want to gamble, don't you?
I like to gamble.
And they do some of that there, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? You talk about getting hit by cars. I wonder if it could be arranged, because I had a cousin who went to Vegas, and you can pay to race or drive like high-end luxury, like it's, sports cars, exotic sports cars like Ferrari and
cool.
Porsche on a kind of controlled track, right? So we talk about risk assessment, but still doing something kind of adventurous and dangerous.
Yeah.
If you went to Vegas, if we could figure out how to get you in like a high-end car with whatever controls you need, that you could drive like a Ferrari.
That would be dope.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool.
All right. We're gonna work on this. We gotta get a sponsor for the podcast that's paying us a lot of money.
I always get jealous when I see people driving. It's like, damn, I wish I could do that. That's a nice car.
Well, it's actually possible because my brother-in-law, he's also in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
But he has, like pedal extensions for the car and stuff like that, right? So there's like different things like that you can.
Have you ever seen anybody like with a chair like yours that's like souped it up, like made it faster or with like more high performance controls? Does that exist?
It does exist. I don't think my mother would allow me to do that though, because I'm a wild man with my chair already.
But a key word you said it there. I don't know. Your mom might not be happy with me to say you're a man.
Right.
There's some things we do now as men that our mothers wouldn't approve of.
It's that's the beauty of being an adult. She can't say squat anymore,
She could still have her input and just express her concerns.
It doesn't mean I have to listen.
Yeah. Sorry, Kelly's mom. You're doing a fantastic job. Yeah. No, that's good, and I think that's probably going to be a recurring theme in our conversations. But I hope we can keep coming up with ideas, and who knows, right? Like where the powers to be and the different places of influence. We're going to have at least one of our managers in the podcast pretty soon again, and those are always good questions as we talk with different levels of leadership. What changes or accommodations or adaptations can we make so that, again, the people we support, are able to pursue their goals, live as independently as possible, really, again, living out that mission of achieving full and meaningful lives in our community, right?
I mean, too, like, with that said, as much as that'd be really nice, I mean, we are government funded, so there are certain stipulations that we do have to follow, and sometimes it's not like our choice at all, but it's like from higher up where we're like, okay, we have to do this because it's something that's required of us, unfortunately.
We need to find a way to get a government official on the podcast. Hey, Kelly?
Yeah, I'd have a few choice words for the government. Just saying.
Yeah, of course you would.
We'll let you edit those.
Sorry, Jordan. Just being honest. If you watch this later, I'm sorry.
Now, which Jordan are you talking about? The CEO Jordan or Jordan Keeley, our MLA?
CEO Jordan.
Oh, okay. I don't think he'll take it personal or whatever. It'd be interesting. We should see if Jordan Keeley, I don't know. Again, he's an MLA, but that's our local representation at a provincial level. Just have a conversation with him. He shared very thoughtfully at our 65th anniversary, that even on a personal end, he's faced, some of the health challenges. He understands it from a family perspective, some of the things he's gone through. Again, I think sometimes we think, well, these government leaders, they just don't care. They don't get it. Why are they making these rules? But if we have these conversations, there's a human perspective that they carry as well. But sometimes if they would get to learn more, understand more, it would deepen that and help them in their advocacy, which is always a big part of what we're doing as well. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then you go to other countries and the mayors just want to celebrate you.
Exactly. Like, oh, okay, cool.
Now, you evidently have a passion for this work. What are some of the things that bring you just the greatest joy in what you get to do?
Well, honestly, the one thing that keeps coming back is the people that I support.
And that being sarcastic.
Of course, obviously, giving people a run for their money, But no, that's honestly been truly the reason why I keep coming back to this is because, the people I get to know and then the relationships I get to establish with people. And then just taking what I've learned through this job and bringing it to the different places I've been to as well too, right? And just really learning to see the value that people have. That is one of the greatest things I've actually had with this job in general, is really seeing people, the value that people have. And really understanding that doesn't matter what you have, you're still a human being, and you deserve to be treated that way. Yeah.
How many years did you say you've been with the association?
With the association, 11.
Yeah. So you've seen a fair bit of change in that. How do you feel we've improved in what we're doing? And then flip side of that, what are some of the things you would love to see us improve on going forward?
Ooh, really good question. Yeah, there has been a lot of changes. I think it's really cool seeing how we're trying to get more involved in the community and get people out there a lot more than it used to be. On the flip side of that, I think something that we've struggled with in the past is kind of, and it's not necessarily something that it's on the association, but it's with the funding that people have. Like whether it's like they have global funding or like PSI funding or...
And quick, I often stop on the abbreviations just in case our listeners don't know what's PSI.
Yeah, so PSI funding is more for people on the spectrum, autism. So that's like PSI funding, and then there's like DD funding, which is, what is this thing?
Now I'm testing you.
I know. It takes a minute to get used to them all, but there's a lot of different types of fundings that people are categorized under, right? And then I think it might be changing now still, but for a while it was we could not put groups of people with different fundings. They all had to come with the same type of funding. So that was something that I kind of struggled with, because I'm like, we're supposed to be about inclusion, but this is not inclusion. It's segregation. So how does that work? And if I think this person, that person would be a great friend, I can't get them together because they're different funding, right? So that's something in the past that was a struggle. But I think now we're starting to like find different ways to kind of move around that in different ways, be a little sneaky, but like still do it in a way that is, not
creative
sneaky.
But effective.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, exactly. And then with the new, so we have a bunch of like new projects coming up too, and like with the new community center, that's really exciting, and just different opportunities that will come with that, and how that will be open to the community as well, and then make those connections,
Yes.
and then make genuine friendships and like have lasting ones, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Do you have any good stories about your time working with the association?
Do I have to just pick one?
No, I don't think so. We should start first. How did you first meet Kelly? We like doing this one. And what were your impressions? And then Kelly gets to answer the same way.
Kelly'd be nice. Actually, I think I met Kelly. You were in home share at that time. I don't even know if you were were you a part of the association at that time?
Yeah, I was.
Okay. Yeah.
Home share was still a part of the association.
I just can't remember if you were technically a part of it or if you were just home share.
No, I was part of it.
Okay, because that was, I think, 2014 where I met you. It was actually Bible study. Yeah, because your home share was hosting Bible study. That's how I got to know you. And then, I don't know. It's been downhill since then.
I don't know. I struggle with the Bible stuff sometimes.
Fair enough.
I mean, I'll be honest. Because it's like, I don't know. I find a lot of people in the whole Bible community focus a lot on trying to be perfect. And you just can't. Like,
Are you kidding? I'm perfect.
When I was in school last year, I had a guy that I was working with who was, Christian, and he kept telling me, I don't sin, I'm not a sinner. And I'm like, you might want to check yourself there, man, because I don't believe that, just being honest, I don't believe that. You make mistakes, I make mistakes, we all do it.
Yeah. No, that's unfortunate.
Right?
And I don't know if we've talked about it or not. I don't know if you knew that I was a pastor for a number of years.
I did.
Yeah. And it's funny, we're actually in the Backstage Pastor podcast studio, but if you want to get the Backstage Pastor podcast, tune into Evangel Chapel. We're grateful for them letting us use this studio. But I think it is, we could probably go down a whole trail on that, and unfortunately, so, and you even talked about it, Rebekah, the impacts of religious perspective in relation to people with disabilities and how that gets skewed or misunderstood or
twisted.
Yeah, and really, from my perspective and what I would understand from the Bible, a very inaccurate view on, how Jesus would have, was interacting with people with disabilities and how we as Christians should be doing that. And then that gets not done right and is not reflected very well, and it gives a bad outlook on it.
Well, and for me, he kept telling me, God's going to make you walk. You're not meant to be in the wheelchair. I'm like, well, then why am I in it? Because if I wasn't meant to be in it, I wouldn't be in it.
And that's,
that's the way I have to look at it.
Yeah, and the way he's conveying that, right, is that, well, there's something wrong with you.
Exactly.
Which is not, right? Exactly. God made you. He made you who
the
you
way
are,
I am.
And it's fantastic.
Exactly.
Every single one of us, yeah. And the flip side of that is we all do have faults and failures and sin, right? You said that, this guy's like, oh, I don't sin. BS.
Yeah, it is. It's total BS.
We recognize it's a fallen, broken world that we live in. And, that's, for me, what has drawn me to nonprofit in so many different ways is because I think it's given to all of us to contribute and to serve each other because we need each other in relationship and community. And my perspective is that's how God designed us to be, because on our own, we can't do it. Yeah, like we need that support, and it's pretty cool working in an organization where we're over 90 staff, strong board, whole group of individuals that we're connected with that make community wonderful and a good expression of it. And it's not even a Christian organization, right? Doesn't have to be. So no, that's cool. So you met at Bible study, right on.
Yeah, we did.
And after I don't know. And I think it was when I was casual, the first time I was casual, then I worked in your house and we got to know each other, and then we'd always do this thing where we'd watch a show together, and I haven't watched it without you since. It's been a while.
Yeah.
But that was our thing, though.
Yeah.
And what did Kelly think of Rebekah when you first met her?
Be nice.
I thought she was quirky. Still think she is.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
That's a pretty fair assessment. And I think that's, it's actually a helpful thing to think about, because how many staff come in and are like, man, we've got over 120 individuals, and not every staff is going to support every individual. Usually you're connected with just a small handful. But the reality is staff may not always get along with certain individuals. Certain individuals may not always get along with certain staff. And that's okay, right?
I've definitely had my experience. I'll say this. When I was still living at 116, I made a staff member cry.
Maybe that's what I was thinking of.
And at the time, and I'm a little ashamed to say this, but at the time, I wasn't ashamed of it. I was, what's the word? Kind of proud. But, yeah.
You've got way nicer now.
Well, I don't know about that. You push my buttons the wrong way, you'll find out.
But no, it's true though. Like, there are people that we will connect with and people that we don't, and that's okay, right? And I mean, you try to accommodate, but in an organization like this, sometimes it's kind of hard to do that. So sometimes you just have to suck it up and be like, okay, I mean,
I'm here to work today.
Don't get along, but I'm gonna do my best to make this easy for both of us, kind of thing, right? Because we don't always get to work with people that we prefer, whatever that is, right?
Either you do your best or you make them cry.
Yeah, in the case of you.
Those are the options.
But that's part of life, though, because like even out there, like there are people that you'll come across with that you don't connect with, and then people that it comes naturally, right? But that's just human nature.
Did you have any other stories? You said you have a bunch. Right?
Oh yes, story time. Oh goodness. Where do I begin? I guess one of my favorite, well, not one of my favorites, but this one kind of involves Camp Sakatala. And it was it was 2019, the last time we went out there. And because I volunteered out there, I know some of the staff who work out there. So I convinced one of them to help me out with a prank I wanted to pull on some people. And then I talked with my coworkers and stuff like that. I'm like, hey, you want to help me out with this? And the plan was to ambush some of the guys that are a bit of a pain in Becca's butt. I won't name names, but there was at least 5 of them that I really wanted to like pull a prank on. And so what we did was me and my co-workers, we hid a bunch of like water balloons and like water guns by the cabins. And then my friend who works out there, he was like, hey guys, I need some help with like these logs. Let's bring them over to the cabins. So, and that's where we're waiting in an ambush for the guys. And then they came, and then we got them good. And then after that, did I ever have to watch my back? I had like a big target on my back, especially when I was around water. Yeah. I could not get too close to water because you never knew who might want to push me in.
But it sounds like it was worth it.
Oh, it was so worth
fun.
it. So worth it. And it was actually that same year, I happened to be stuck in the guy's cabin. Poor me. Every morning at like 6 a.m, like clockwork, one of the guys would just get up and like yell, Rebekah! And I'm like, what do you want? Like every morning, 4 days straight in a row, and I just like roll over and ignore it because he'd only say it once. And then our last morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, he yells, Rebekah! And he did it more than once. So then I roll over and I sit up, and he's standing right there. I'm like, whoa, dude! Where'd you come from? Oh, goodness, memories.
And he just needed to get your attention.
I think it was also payback from the prank, you know? It could have been. Was he in that one, maybe? No, I didn't get him. No, but he was out to get me, though. I don't know why. Like I said, I had a target on my back for some reason.
That's a fun story.
That's what happens when you ambush people.
Oh, come on. It was fun.
And I love it's a good story of innocent fun with intention, right? Some maliciousness. But again, you know, we time back, you know, the whole thing about risk and worry and concern. Sometimes you just need to do silly things. You just need to have fun. Just, you know, kick back and see what happens and make great memories, and build those relationships.
I mean, really, isn't that what life is supposed to be about?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
So we're not just... See, that's one of the problems I have with... Again, on the Bible discussion, is like, I find it too rule-oriented, right? You can't do this. You can do this, but you can't do this. And it's like, really? Can't we just enjoy ourselves?
Well, and Jesus said he came to give life and life to the full. What does a full life look like? It's a lot of experience. It's trial and error. It's adventure. And at the heart of it, again, is relationship. Yeah. And if we're always like, oh, did I do the right thing? And we get, you know, super concerned with that, I think we're missing out on what it is that we could do. I was listening to a little TED Talk the other day, and he was just talking about the greatest heroes are the ones without a cape, right? They just show up and they just love to dive in and do life full on. And like you said, help, serve, stumble, faults, do pranks, make failures, and the outcomes in the end usually are pretty fantastic. And when the failures come again, that's part of the whole experience. And we've mentioned that again and again. Do you have, Rebekah, you've done work in this field for a long time. We often like to ask this question, any myths or misconceptions that you would like to kind of break down or bust that people should be better informed about?
Well, there's so many of them. But I think a big thing is don't see the label, see the person. When we put a label on things, we tend to assume what people can and cannot do. And then by doing that, you limit people. And that's not a fair thing to do. And I mean, the bottom line is we're all people. Whether or not there's a disability there's some that are visible and some that are more invisible because we all have stuff we're dealing with. We really do.
We're all a little messed up in the head.
Exactly. Yeah, we all are. But we're all people and we all have value and we should all be treated with that dignity and respect. So I think that's just, the big thing is we're just all people. Bottom line. No buts, ands, ifs, no labels involved. Like, that doesn't matter. We're people. That's it.
Well,
Mic drop.
like with me, sometimes I find it's like when I meet someone for the first time, I'm like, okay, when they meet me, are they just going to see the chair and not the person? Because I've had that happen a lot where they see the chair and that's all they can see and they can't get past it. And it's like, I'm more than that.
And that's sad that happens, but I was going to say, Kelly, one of the great things about you is you have such a big personality. So I don't know if other people can relate, but for me, you make me forget about the chair.
Right?
Your personality just shines through, and you're just cracking jokes and just doing life and building a relationship that I'm just like, oh, you come with a chair. I forgot about that.
Right?
Right? But it is a sad thing how some people just can't always get past that, but there's that lack of awareness, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, even when I first got started in this field, there was a huge fear for me because it was different and I didn't know how to take it. Like, I remember when I was growing up, the church I went to, I remember there was this woman in a wheelchair and she couldn't speak, but she was very vocal. She scared me. I don't know why she scared me, but then when I got into this field, guess what? She was one of the first people I worked with.
Cool.
And then she looked exactly the same from what I remember. And then I got to know her. I'm like, oh, she's great.
Yeah.
She's an amazing personality. Like, even if she can't speak, she has different ways of communicating.
Yeah.
And she's just a great person to be with. Right? So sometimes there's that fear. And sometimes people don't know necessarily how to react or even talk to someone, right? But that's where those assumptions come in, right? And that's where, hey, no, I'm a person, right? And that's where it's our place to, like, educate, right? And be like, no, you can just talk to me, right?
Yeah, exactly.
People don't always know. And instead of, like, getting angry and upset about that, okay, what can we do? How can we change this person's mindset?
Well, that's like, you remember, Jared, I told you this story about the one time I went down to the mall with one of my staff members, and the security guard was like, came up to us and was like, are you guys together? And she's like, yeah. And then the security guard's like, oh, good. I wanted to make sure he wasn't alone. And I'm like, I'm looking at her going, seriously? Like, what the hell?
Yeah. See, though, in his defense, though, he didn't realize. Like, or she didn't realize, right? Like, there's, once again, it comes down to that lack of awareness, and people make those assumptions, right? So instead of us getting upset about it, we need to kind of give people the benefit of the doubt and be like, hey, clearly they don't really know too much, or they're a very limited mindset. So what can we do to change that?
And I did learn later on that I wasn't the only one being targeted that day. There were more people.
And you've talked about these opportunities. It's not really opportunities. These experiences, and the good thing from your side, and I think it's why it's fantastic that you're on the board as an advocate, is that again you can give that voice. And you've mentioned to people at the bar, you've mentioned to the person in the mall, hey, like, see me, hear me, know me. I am my own individual. And you become that educator, even if it's a little abrasive, which sometimes it probably needs to be, right? So that
Yeah.
these people are like, oh, right.
Well,
yeah,
that's like-
hopefully this was a learning experience for them,
Well,
and you got to be the educator.
That was like the guy at the bar when he said to one of my workers was like, he said, should he be drinking? And I looked at him dead in the face. I'm like, like, I may be disabled, but I'm not dead.
Yeah.
Like,
And we hope that guy doesn't forget that and has a stronger, a better, more appreciative response in the future.
Well, yeah, I think my response kind of caught him off guard. He was like, oh, he's like, maybe I should just keep my mouth shut.
Yeah. Last question for you, Rebekah. What excites you for the Fort St. John Association for Community Living looking ahead?
Ooh, well, we have so many things happening, but one thing I'd love to see, it's not in the works, but one thing I'd love to see happen, because I love traveling, like I love it, and experiencing things. I'd love to see like a travel group happen, like an international one or something like that.
A travel what?
A travel group.
A travel group.
Like an international travel group or something
Okay.
like that. Just so people can experience what's out there. Because a lot of people, I mean, I don't know about you, Kelly, but have you ever been out of Canada? Have you ever been out of Fort St. John?
I've been out of Fort St. John. I've been out of Canada, yeah.
Oh, where were you out of Canada?
I went to Disneyland in 2004. I've been to Portland, Oregon. I've been to Vancouver multiple times for like surgeries and
That
stuff.
doesn't count. It used to be fun trips, you know?
Yeah. And
So this is an idea you have that we don't currently have.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I like it.
I mean, I don't know how that would all, because we've never had anything like that, but I'm passionate about traveling, and I think it'd be really cool for other people to experience it, and just, I think it'd open up people's eyes to like what's out there, whether it could be a thing of realizing that Canada's actually a pretty good place to live, or also like realizing that, oh hey, there's so many different cultures out there that's interesting and different from ours. I want to learn more about that, or whatever, or oh, maybe the world's not quite how I thought it was, or whatever, right? So I think it'd be an eye-opening experience for people.
Cool.
Yeah. So it'd be cool to see something like that. But
Let's see.
no, I know we definitely have a lot of big things under the works, which is really exciting, especially with housing. There's a huge need for housing in this area. So I know we have like some projects like that. So that's going to be really exciting to see when that all like comes to place, and then people having places to stay and the supports provided and stuff like that. So that's really, really exciting for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any last questions from you, Kelly?
no.
Awesome.
I'm good.
Well, Rebekah, it's been so good to have you on. And I appreciate it, your perspective and your ideas and your stories. It's been really good. And we thank everybody again for tuning in and listening to this episode of the Shining Brighter podcast presented by the Fort St. John Association for Community Living. Our mission is to support individuals with developmental disabilities and complex needs achieve full and meaningful lives in our community.
Again, I still hate that word.
Remember, we've got 2 parts in that.
I know, but I still.
Okay. Kelly gets to interrupt my conclusion. But why do we do what we do? It's because empowering people to shine by designing their own lives and reflecting their unique light makes a brighter world for everyone. So show your support. Help share the light by subscribing to the show and sharing it with your friends. Thank you so much. We'll catch you next time.